I'm back. I mean, I only left for a little while, but what's really back is my Stakeholder Experience series. I was in the middle of a series introducing what Stakeholder Experience is. I'm going to drop the links to all of the episodes on that in the show notes here of this one, just to let everyone catch up, get acquainted with what the heck I'm even talking about. Stakeholder experience isn't something you're going to hear from anyone else anywhere on the internet or any business, not this approach. And it's a culmination of my 2 decades of experience and how I know to be true with certainty that business owners, especially entrepreneurs and we gritty little like solopreneurs and lean teams out here doing a lot ourselves, growing the dream, having the impact we want, and really learning to market and really learning to deliver an excellent client experience. And me flipping that on its head and saying, okay, what we're all really talking about here is stakeholder experience. Every person who has a stake in your business defines your reputation, the experience that you give them, the interaction they have with your business, and how you show up within your personal brand. They define your reputation, and your reputation is your revenue. That dictates if clients refer other clients to you. That dictates if you get collaboration opportunities to get more exposure. That dictates if you get that opportunity to speak on that stage. That dictates if people stop saying your name in rooms or refer people away from you. The way that you treat every interaction and bring a little extra to your experience, whether it's a client, a biz buddy, a collaborator, yourself, or your team, can change the game in your business. So I was introducing this concept at the start of the year and introduced the concept first. And then I have 5 groups that I want to introduce. But everything I do ladders up to this stakeholder experience, and I want to take you on that journey. Everything that we all do does. I think the difference is recognizing that and planning your business around it and around the experience that folks have with you and your brand really dictates the success and the lasting sustainability of our businesses. But I had to take a break. So I just want to reintroduce this level set where we all are because I have 2 groups. I was on a roll. I had a plan. I had 2 groups left to introduce. I've already introduced your client experience. I've already introduced your collaborator experience. And we've already talked about your biz buddies, those people that have never bought from you or paid $1 in their lives, but you maybe meet at a networking event and you're like, oh yeah, and you hit it off and you know what they do and they know what you do, and you would still refer people to them because you can tell they have integrity, that they deliver a stellar product and they know their shit. That's a biz buddy. So I introduced those, which means I have 2 groups left, your team experience and yourself, because this is your business at the end of the day. It is your life at the end of the day, yours. And taking care of yourself is how you continue to show up and take care of everyone, both in your life and your business. But before I had a chance to introduce those, the day that I actually recorded the team episode, we got a call unexpectedly that my father passed away on February 9th. And that set things in a tizzy, as you might be able to imagine. And there's so much of that I still haven't even processed. But everything stopped. I created I created a little content around this approach people like to take, especially in operations, which is my jam, but that your business shouldn't stop when you stop. And I think there's some validity in that, but like everything, it's specific to your type of business, your stage of business. And for me, my brand, my personal brand is pretty much my business. I just created a separate brand in Rooted and Relentless, this podcast, The Mastermind, in the last year. But Steph Rubio is very much my brand. And if I stop, my business does stop. And my world stopped when I got that phone call about my dad. And we live 7 hours away. So I had a day, less than a day, to get care for the dogs, pack up the kids, me, my brother, husband, get us out of town. My husband wasn't even here. Grieve my dad, take care of all of the arrangements in a funeral, which is like a business, by the way. It's very much like a business and very much less like losing someone. So making decision after decision after decision. And my decision with my business was to stall mostly everything, definitely for a week, but no time bound in other things. And this series and the podcast was one of those. So we took a week and I did hop right back into my business the next week. And I actually found that staying busy was a coping mechanism for me and it helped really well. So I lived in immense sadness morning, noon, and night the week that my father passed, and I had to get out of that. And those times are coming and going now. And I think getting back into my work, supporting my clients helped. That distraction was healthy for me versus some people could see it as, and for some people it is a way to avoid processing. I very much processed it and it very much sucks. I've actually told people that it's the hardest thing I've been through, and I've been through a lot of hard things. So that's saying a lot. I also knew that my dad was not going to live forever. Knowing and experiencing are two different things. It is the most final thing I've ever experienced, and that's what I mean by the most hard. I can't control it at all. And I haven't met many things I can't control, even if it's not the control I want, like having to just leave a situation. I could still have control over that, and I have no control over death. I have no control over never seeing my dad again, and that has been the most difficult to reckon with. So the next week, as I got back into work, checked in with clients, started kind of getting my head around where I was. I had some commitments already outstanding that I decided to keep that I was excited about. A virtual summit, Thriving Through Motherhood, that I was participating in. Another virtual summit I was approached and asked. The Females on Fire Summit on April 6th, which made me a sought after speaker technically, since someone sought me out and wanted me to participate. And these have finite due dates. And so as I've kind of clawed my way back into work and tried to figure out what our new normal is, for me, it was just pausing this podcast for a little while. I had a couple episodes come out last week that were pre-recorded and pre-planned with Taylor Smith, the event series, which was incredible and so helpful to people in our community and way beyond that, I know. But my Stakeholder Experience series, I had to pause a little longer, and I didn't want to because I wanted to get that event series out. And I want to introduce these last two concepts, and then I'll be having guests on, really honing in on their angle, their approach, and how they manage their various stakeholders. So I won't be bringing people on and going through, all 5 stakeholder groups. The reality is that we either care for intentionally these stakeholder groups or we lack that care. And those have far-reaching effects regardless of which approach we take, right? And so I will be spotlighting guests over the next couple of weeks. This is what you can expect. This week, the team experience episode will go live. How you manage your team. And this is contractors, employees, people you hire one time, ongoing, folks that make up your team. And then the last one will be yourself. And that's going to be a monster that probably needs a 4-part episode on its own, but we're going to shoot for 1, maybe 2. And really, because caring for yourself, self-leadership, how you show up for you, the experience you give yourself really dictates everything else. You are the ripple effect for everything around you, right? And so we're going to spend some time there. And that will wrap up the introduction of this stakeholder experience, how I want you to start viewing and thinking about the entire ecosystem of your business, who it touches, and how that affects your reputation, and how your reputation is your revenue engine. And after this introduction phase, I will start featuring guests lightly who I see demonstrate excellence in one or more of these areas of the experience that they give their stakeholders. It could be one stakeholder group they excel at. It could be one method they use to excel at. We're just going to have some fun introducing different ways. So you'll get to see some outside perspective on this approach to stakeholder experience. So this conversation, this last month, losing my dad and just navigating what our new normal looks like without this kind of, it's the first time in my life I felt a little bit like uprooted, which is funny because my dad didn't root me. It didn't seem like I have always blown in the wind and let the world take me where it may, and thrived in that. So this thought of feeling rudderless is new to me, from having like my only long-standing, the person who's been in my life the longest, having them not here anymore has really rocked me. And this past month has been me living stakeholder experience, caring for me, the you, in stakeholders. It's been me proving that I needed to lean into me. I needed to take extra time. I needed to be with my family. I need to help my kids process losing their papa. I need to process being sad out of nowhere, and so taking the time to do that while also growing a brand, while recognizing my needs, while making sure my community knows that I'm honoring my needs and then it's okay to do that, are all ways that are authentic to me to continue showing up. And at the end of the day, grief and how you feel it and how you display it and how you process it is different for everyone. This has certainly taught me that. And so I'm really excited to dig back into the series and bring it back to life. But I had to refresh people what we're doing here, why we're doing it, and that Doing whatever you need for yourself is okay. Taking a break in the middle of a series, in the middle of momentum that I had going on, is okay. So if you haven't already listened to my brief introduction on Stakeholder Experience and the various episodes introducing your client experience, your collaborator experience, and your biz buddies, then check the show notes, catch up on those, and catch me for the next two where we talk about your team and how you care for yourself being the stakeholder, capital THE, so we can have your reputation being your number one growth engine as well. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of Rooted and Relentless. If it made you laugh, nod along, or grab that cute little notebook of yours and scribble something down, please hit me with the SSR, subscribe, share, and review, as in leave a review. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram at virtually_Steph Rubio and tell me what you're reading this week. Seriously, I live for a good book moment. Thanks for hanging. Bye.